Hello and welcome in. I am Miss Kinghorn and we are back here in Twin Creek Zoo in the wonderful Planet Zoo. Alright, we don't have much longer to go. Surprisingly, the zoo has sped along, so we are currently working on a habitat for the Southern Cassowary. These lovely little guys that we're working on for here. So we're currently building their hard shelter, which is kind of in this sort of complex of sort of buildings at the back here, where we've got a couple of the staff buildings and like the water purification and things like that going in there as well. But I thought this would be a nice little place for this shelter. It's very similar to the ones we've done previously. There's not too different with it, I've got to be honest. We do actually custom make it though. We don't sort of copy and paste it from anywhere else, which is what we normally do. I felt like redoing everything. So you can also see a little bit more of the staff area around the back there as well. A few little decorations that I have put in there as well. But this just sort of fills in that sort of gap at the back here. And obviously then the habitat kind of in the front of it in that as well. But we'll see that in a minute. Alright then, so what have we got left after this episode? We have got the emu, which is going to be our last animal that we will be working on, and then we are going to have like a little finishing sort of speed build where I just do a few other little bits and pieces that we have got sort of left over and bits and pieces like that we need to do, and then I'm going to actually do like a little bit of a sort of a tour as it were. So I'm just going to do a sort of first person sort of guest cam where we are going to have a bit of a walk as a guest through all of this and have a look at all of the little bits and pieces that we have done. But that's coming up in the future. That's the next 2 weeks, and then we should be done in time for the next Sims update, which is going to be on the new DLC for the Sims is coming out on the 16th of March. So I think the last video for this will come out on the 14th, if I'm remembering my dates correctly, and then we'll be ready for some Sims for speed builds to come into there as well, and yeah, ready for the infants and the sort of baby update and all of that growing together that we are going to be working with. Now, if anybody has a particular home that they would like to see, maybe like a particular style or something like that, do let me know in the comments down below, and it may happen, you never know. We shall have to see what we come up with. But alright, this hard shelter here for them is coming together quite nicely. Just sort of doing a little bit of copying from one side to the other, and then obviously we have the back section to get in as well to here. Alright, trying to get it to all match in as well, because that's something we've not necessarily done too much of in the past, sort of getting it to all tie in with the front to the back and sort of things like that, because at the end of the day the guests aren't going to see the back, but it still needs to look quite nice into there. Alright, and we find that we're missing a few bits and pieces, so we have to just move a little bit and sort of make these a little bit bigger coming into here and there, just so that it's all nicely detailed up in there, and then those two, copy those there. Right then, so it's a little bit less on the sort of back here sort of space wise, but that should be fine. And now let's copy the sort of fencing. So this is the big sort of tall fence that we're going to have around the back here and along this sort of staff path that leads up between the two habitats. These are quite close together, and this zoo is quite small and is quite closed in as well, which is actually what I really wanted. I didn't really want to do like a big sort of open expanse where you've got lots of sort of planting and things like that in between each sort of animal, because you wouldn't necessarily have the water resources to actually do that in the sort of real world. So we are kind of taking a little bit of inspiration from there and making it a little more difficult. So it's a lot more sort of barren. What the plants that we do have are kind of deserty, kind of a little bit of grasslands coming through in there, but all native to Australia where this zoo is based in there, so that we can conserve our water use and things like that in there, because I would imagine a zoo would be quite difficult to water and garden and things like that, so trying to reduce that all down as much as possible into here in there. And surprise I have done a sneak little peek in there, so you can see I have added some little stalls just on either side. There is only going to be 2 animals in this habitat, and obviously room for babies as well, so we have sort of 2 pens on either side and then a little area in the middle for them to kind of get in there, and they can also use that for, I think there's like a feeder in there and some enrichment as well, so that should all be nicely done in there. So this roof that we're working on here, just kind of a little bit of like a double winged kind of area into here, and just to get those in there, and then some trims just on the outside again, a little bit of sort of detail, gives you a nice sort of big overhang of all of this, and lowering it all down so it's in the right place into there. And using that, we will also grab out the stone just for the sort of top triangular parts into here. So copying all of our colours over, and then that is going to be our hard shelter done into here. Right. There we go. And then the top pieces just in there as well. So you've kind of got the stone on the bottom, then a bit of wood, and then some more stone kind of lining that up, and some more trim just coming on around the front of the building in here along the roof, just to give, as I say, a little bit more detail and things like that. Right, I'm going to do that all the way around this sort of build into here. Coming in, right. So you can kind of just about say this isn't the biggest habitat we have sort of in here, and we'll see a little bit more when we get the fencing in. Although they don't require a lot of land and a lot of space, so I was able to create quite a nice habitat in here for them. Lots of sort of rock work and lots of sort of stones and planting and things like that, which is always good to get into there. Right, move that in to place over here, and then the last bit will be this section here. Copying that down here so it's nicely in the right place, and tucking that in. There you go. Right, so we've done a little bit more of the fencing along this path, and now we're just going to copy out this small little fence down the front here, and just to run a nice, to kind of keep it all sort of the same throughout this section. Into here. Alright, we do expand this fence a little bit more, just so that it's a little bit more in keeping into there and the right sort of size. And we run this all the way along the front, so you can sort of get a good idea of how much sort of space they have. Alright. And ta-da, that is now done, and I've done it around the side as well. Now I want a little bit of raised kind of area just in here, so that you can come up and sort of not necessarily an observation deck, but a nice little raised area. We do get a couple of benches in there as well, but I just thought it was a nice little area to get in, and copy and break that out, and it's a nice little split in between the two habitats, because the last habitat that we've got for the emu is going to go the other side of this sort of circular area. And now working, just trying to get this to sort of a nice neater kind of area, and following all of this sort of path round, we're just going to have these stained wood that we've got in parts of the zoo as well, just to come around, just to give it a little bit of a kind of a fence look into here. But it just kind of gives that sort of nice sort of finished look around the whole area into there. Coming through, we do expand that fence out so it actually meets this sort of fence into here, and we get some planting kind of in between the two as well, just to give you sort of that level of separation between the animals, kind of like what we did with the kangaroos and the dingo. If anybody can remember right the way back to the second and the third episodes, there is that level of planting in between the two fences, just so that they wouldn't be able to see each other so much into that. Right. So we're actually going to double this up. We've kind of got this like taller level, but you can see the curb is still visible on the inside, and I really didn't want that, so we kind of add like another sort of smaller level on the inside, just sort of to hide that in as well. Right. Just bring those into here, and we just kind of find that sort of normal triangular sort of shape in there, and you can then see this one has to come back slightly, and there we go. And now I'm just going to add the next row, as we say, just sort of one step down to all of these. So really simple little area into here, and there we go. It just sort of hides those sort of horrible little curbs that I don't really need and don't really want either to come into there. Right then, slowly work our way around all of these in there. Right, so we've got the last little bits of this to do, and then we are going to add the sort of flooring in. Now, these are like the path covers we've got throughout the zoo. We've just kind of covered the pathing. I don't necessarily know why. I think because in places there isn't path that you don't necessarily sort of see. Sometimes the path can be a little bit tricky, so we don't sort of show all of that into here, but just sort of covering it up in places just makes it all look a little bit neater and a little bit more sort of tidy to come into here as well. to here as well. Looks like we might need a bit more. No, should do into there. And then these are the benches that we said about. I was going to get quite a few in, but for some reason I could only really place like maybe 4 of them. So I've kind of just placed the 3 kind of in a little sort of semicircle around there, and just got a nice little bin in as well. It will also mean if your sort of people are just sort of standing there, you can also see in as well, and you're not sort of all penned over the top of people who are sitting, because that can be quite intimidating and sort of quite scary. And obviously it blocks your view as well, so last little bits and pieces just to get that in over here, and then we should be getting ready to actually work on the habitat and get the animals in as well. Right, and let's go to the flooring. So this is just kind of a nice little plaster pieces. You can see that we've just sort of got those coming throughout the zoo into here. There we go, and just sort of the top section. Now we use these sort of 2 meter pieces just because they're a little bit easier to use, and I think we even use the 1 meter as we go around, just because it is quite tight. Or do we do it all in 2 meters? I think we do. Okay then, just so that we can get all of this in without it sticking out over the edge. There we go. I knew we'd use them at some point. Just into here, so that it sort of neatens all of this up into there. Right. Coming around last little bits of this. It doesn't necessarily matter too much because it's hidden by the wood, so we're just sort of covering the odd little piece up into there, and then we grab a big 4x4 in there. And here is the animal of the video. So it is the Southern Cassowary. They are a large flightless bird. They are listed as being of least concern by the IUCN, which is what we like. They are native to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea and the northern eastern parts of Australia. They are found in tropical rainforests, but many use nearby savanna forests or even mangrove strands. And the Southern is a solitary bird, and they only form pairs for the breeding season, which is in late winter or spring. And that is the facts for today. If you have any more facts, do let me know in the comments down below. The same as if you have enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You all mean so very much to me, as we are a teeny tiny little channel, but we're growing quite strongly into there. But you can also follow me over on Twitch, where I stream 3 times a week with Planet Zoo and The Sims in there. Or you can even follow me over on Twitter, where I'm at misskinghorn, and even join my Discord if you want to, which is the MKB Build Center. You don't have to be able to join. Anybody and everybody is welcome, as long as you have a love of the games. Right then, all of the links to that are down in the description down below, so you can follow me all there as well. But I think as we get into this habitat, I will leave you here. So sit back and enjoy. And I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. But until then, have a good day. Okay, alright. Bye everyone!